Okay, welcome everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. I have no announcements for you. Does anybody have anything they need to say? Okay. I think we usually do this at the beginning. Can we go around and say what we're currently reading? Okay, on my screen, Scott's in the first position.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I am reading Atomic Habits from James Clear, and it's kind of one of those nutty, nerdy leadership books. So been reading it with my team and having discussions every other week or so. And yeah, it's really good. I wish I'd had it when I was a younger leadership kind of guy.
Nice, thank you. Holly?
Well, this probably is appropriate given that we just recently opened Hawks Prairie, which used to be a liquor store. I am reading a cookbook at the moment called The Boozy Baker. And it is got a number of really cool different cake and dessert recipes that all involve cooking with spirits of some kind, which is good because, you know, when you bake, the alcohol bakes out. So this is kind of a neat way to get the flavor without getting any of the unwanted effects of indulging. But there have been some really great recipes in there, and I've been experimenting with them at home and bringing the ones that are safe for work where they have been baked out to work, and the ones that are not, sharing them among my family and friends. But there was a recipe for an old-fashioned snickerdoodle, which literally has the flavors of an old-fashioned cocktail in the snickerdoodle, and it was amazing. So it was very, very good. So I'm having fun. I'm reading a cookbook right now.
That sounds good.
Pam?
Well, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name of it. My book club is reading a book called The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Meisner, which is, I just finished it a few days ago. It's really good. It takes place like during the San Francisco earthquake, and it's got a, kind of a mystery component to it, but it's just been kind of a fun, you don't have to think much, just relax and read it, enjoy it.
Is Alyssa still there? Do you want to tell us what you're reading, or you just want to be in the background?
Up down. There you go.
Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and move on and give Sarah an opportunity.
I am currently reading some of the Grimm fairy tales. So it's just a book with a whole bunch of short stories like Cinderella or anything other like the Disney tales, but what they were based off of. So they're just darker.
Yeah, Grimm was not a light person. The original Grimm stories are pretty hardcore.
Pretty gruesome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, did I leave anybody out?
What are you reading?
Amy.
Amy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amy.
That's okay. I am kind of with Pam. I'm reading something lighthearted. It's called Flying Solo by Linda Holmes, who I think isn't like an NPR reporter, I think. But it's about a woman who goes home to Maine to clean out her great aunt's house and finds something interesting, and hijinks ensue. It's really good. I like it a lot.
Awesome. And I am halfway through the current Newbery Medal winner. It's called The Last Quintista. It's about a group of people who are chosen to carry on the human race when Earth becomes uninhabitable, and they are put into stasis, and they're going to be taken to a new planet. And there is a movement that wants to do away with the old way of doing things on Earth, and they want to kind of start from scratch. And they are able to sneak aboard the transport ships, and they have programmed the stasis pods to wipe the memories of all the space travelers. Ooh. So the main character finds out her memory wipe doesn't work. And she finds out that for all the other people whose memory wipes didn't work, they've all been essentially murdered. And so they've just arrived at the new planet, and she's having to work really hard to pretend like she's been indoctrinated in these usurpers' new way of life. I think it's pretty scary. I'm intrigued to see how it ends.
That sounds fascinating. The last Quintista? Quintista. All right, I'm going to have to read that one. Thank you, Charlotte.
And next up, after I finish that, I have a cookbook out. It's by Reese Witherspoon, and I think it's really interesting that it kind of dovetails on the one that you are reading. It's called Whiskey in a Teacup.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, you know.
Okay. Did everybody get the agenda?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any concerns with the agenda? Any changes or additions? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Do we have the minutes? Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes? They would be from January 22nd.
Yes,
Okay,
they look wonderful.
anybody else have additions or corrections? Okay,
Nope, they looked great.
then is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I would be happy to make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I want to
Just
teach you
fumbling
all
with
a
the
very,
mute button.
I want to teach you all a very useful phrase. It's just 2 words. All you have to say is so moved.
Yeah, but that's not fun.
It works. Okay,
And I
thank
did,
you for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
yeah,
you.
are you allowed to, like, since I took the minutes, am I allowed to like recommend they be approved or seconded? I didn't know if I could or not since I wrote them.
I believe you can. I don't know of any
Okay.
reason why you couldn't.
Good to know for future reference.
Thank you. Okay, so I heard ayes. Are there any nays? Okay, minutes are approved. I have no notice of public comment of individuals wishing to comment. So we're
I
going
did
to
not
move on.
receive any. I did not receive any notifications or as such, Charlotte.
Thank you. Okay, Holly, over to you for updates.
All right. Let's see. What's first on the agenda here?
Mask mandate.
Mask mandate. Okay. So, as you all probably are aware by now, the Governor Inslee has rescinded the indoor mask mandate effective. Basically, the first day no masks will be required inside is this Saturday, March 12th. It was originally 21st, and then he pulled it back a little bit. Timberland Regional Library follows the governor's guidelines and the recommendations of Labor and Industries in terms of COVID safety for our libraries. So beginning March 12th, we will no longer require patrons to wear a mask when visiting the library. However, anyone who wants to continue to wear a mask while visiting the library is absolutely welcome to do so. We will be recommending that staff continue to be masked while working in public areas. It's not a requirement, but it is a recommendation. And we will also be retaining our plexiglass sneeze shields on the front desks for the time being. We'll be continuing to keep that up and going. I think that we're seeing a lot of signs of, from at a country level and a state level and the local level of trying to start to move towards some of those endemic areas instead of pandemic, where local jurisdictions and local and individual people are being left to make the decision on whether they want to continue to be masked or not, or to take those precautions that they feel are necessary for their own personal health. We will, Timberland is, likes to follow the guidelines of our local health agencies and our governor and our government. So we will be doing that. We will also be continuing with our once a day sanitization of keyboards and checkout machines, light cleaning basically, and then of course the nice thorough cleaning that the city of Lacey provides for us at Lacey each night, and that we do 3 days out of 5 over at Hawks Prairie, and that our Timberland custodian takes care of for us the rest of the time. So this is, it's so hard to know what will happen, but one upside that I have been, kind of keeping in mind is that it has been extremely challenging for staff to enforce the indoor mask mandate at our libraries. We have, and it's, and we're not, I think it's probably pretty clear to say that most people don't go into library work because we love a power trip. We go into library work because we like to provide community service and we want to keep people safe. And it has been, even though I want to make it clear, the majority of our patrons have been fantastic during this entire time. They have rolled with the punches like we have with different guidelines. They wear their masks. They make use of the hand sanitizer we have available, which we will still have available at the front of the library. We still provide takeout services to anyone who requests it. So if someone's not comfortable coming into the library while there are unmasked patrons in there, we will continue to bring holds up to the takeout window and provide that service. So the majority of the patrons have been great, but the small number of patrons who have not been great have been really not great. And it has been very, very hard on staff's mental health, on their stress levels, to get called things like mask Nazi, to be cursed at, to be shouted at, when all we do is ask someone, hey, could your mask slip down a little bit? Could you pull it up over your nose? So on that part, we are hopeful that this will make it a little bit easier to do our jobs and a little less stressful, because we will not be enforcing or telling people that they have to wear a mask or that they have to wear it properly in the library. And we're going to be doing all that we can to help protect ourselves as well. I will share that as of May 2nd, Timberland Regional Library will be a vaccine mandated institution, which means that all employees working there must be vaccinated to continue employment. And we're already 97% vaccinated among our staff throughout the entire district, all 5 counties. So this is not going to be a big change for us at Lacey, but it's just something to kind of help continue to keep our health. We work in public service during a time where there's a health crisis. It's a little challenging. So we will be, we hope that there's been a cultural shift, and so that folks who wish to continue to be masked, staff most likely, I said, will continue to be masked for the most part when we're in public areas. But for patrons who wish to come in and wear their masks, welcome to. Please, they should feel free and comfortable to do so. And we hope that patrons who no longer wish to be masked will continue to come in, and they can do that, and they will give the same sort of service we would be giving anybody else. We'll make it a lot easier to help serve our hard of hearing patrons, because it's a lot more, it feels better to be able to pull the mask up or over so that someone can read lips when there's not a mask mandate. It feels, we still have done it, but it feels hard when we know that, you're not supposed to have your mask off at all. And so this will be helpful to just kind of see how it goes. We are, yeah.
Do you, are you going to have signage or messaging around all of that, or is it sort of just you're going to be silent on it and people will?
No, we will have that.
Decisions?
We'll have signage that's posted that says masks, that masks not required, masks recommended but not required, so that folks know that we are following the governor's guidance. And as I said, we will also be happy to provide takeout services if anyone's not comfortable coming in. So we'll hope to go on that way. Another thing that we're going to be, any other questions around the mask mandate? Thank you, Amy. Anything else that anybody would like to check in with us on I did have my friends board meeting today at noon, and I believe that they are going to they are discussing what they want to do with their book sales going forward. I think that they are going to post signage that asks people to be masked in a really empathetic way. Many of the volunteers are senior citizens or have health issues, and so they're going to put some signage up that for the safety of our volunteers, many of whom are older and have health issues, could you wear a mask while shopping? I don't know that they will actually, they won't do it an enforcement, but they'll encourage people to be masked, and they're going to continue to limit the attendance at a book sale to 10 people at a time in the room. We will not be, we will be starting to resume some passive in-person programming for the summer, but we're not going to be resuming in-person story times in the building until September or later. We are going to be trying to be outside this summer. We're going to be reaching out and working with the city of Lacey to do maybe some family story times pre-show and sign people up for summer library program and cards during the summer programs in the park this year. We're also going to be providing a lot of different kinds of activities inside the library that are passive and don't require a presenter or a staff person being in the meeting room with an enclosed group. So we'll have probably some building-wide scavenger hunts and some other neat activities and things that go on, but it won't be performer-based or staff-run during this summer. We're going to try and take that outside. We're also going to try and do a lot more taking our show on the road, for example, and try and do some story times at Head Starts, at daycares, at Boys and Girls Club, going out there to do some outreach this summer, kind of try and start reconnecting with the community a bit in a way that feels safe. And then we'll see how things look in September and kind of go from there. So that's what I have on that.
Holly, when I listed you on the agenda as the 3 bullets, mandate, Hawkesbury, and Lacey, I meant that to be essentially the report that you mailed to all
Got
of
it.
us. Is that
okay? Yep. So is there any
okay?
question? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You bet. Did everyone get a chance to receive the report that I sent yesterday?
Mhm.
I wanted to get it early for it's been a while, but also because it has a great embedded link, so you can, if you weren't able to attend the grand opening, there's a lovely, lovely recording of the grand opening event and the mayor's comments and speech and the ribbon cutting that we posted to YouTube. So I hope folks got a chance to watch that. Are there any other questions regarding the updates in my manager's report that you would like me to address? Okay. Thank you.
So did you want to go through the report, or you just figure we can read it?
What I have been doing, at some of the meetings previous to this that I'm sending out, is if folks have had a chance to see it and read it, just asking if there are questions. I'm happy to do highlights if you want. Just want to respect everyone's time in case there's other discussions that we want to have.
Is there anything that anybody would like Holly to review, highlight, cover again?
I wasn't able to attend the opening. Was it successful from your perspective?
It was amazing. Oh my goodness. We had over 50 people turn out, which blew my mind. I was not expecting to get that many people. We had many of the city's dignitaries, the city council members arrived. The mayor had a lovely library supportive, literacy supportive speech prepared. My administration was blown away by his comments. We don't always, that's not, it's so lovely to have a mayor and have a city that is so supportive of literacy and the efforts and things we're trying to do at the library. That's not always what you see in libraries throughout the country. And so having that city government support that way is great. So Mayor Ryder, well done. That was a great speech. So that was really fun. I got instructed on proper giant scissor management, because in order to cut the ribbon, I was handed what essentially felt like 2 swords attached by a screw in the middle. And I was very worried about accidentally stabbing people. So I was, but Thurston County Chamber of Commerce brought the ribbon and the giant scissors for us, and it was lovely. And it was great for a whole hour. People just came in and looked around and said nice things. And I just got to schmooze with everyone and see people I hadn't seen in a while, and help people, check out the first book on the self-checkout machines. And it was great. And I tell you, my staff is really enjoying working over there. The word is getting out. We've been open a couple of weeks now. I think this is like the middle of week 3. And we have been getting about, I would say, between 30 and 40 people a day visiting the library ever at Hawks Prairie. And it's such a nice, relaxed change of pace. As you know, Lacey is very busy, and there's lots and lots to do all the time. And we love working there, and the days go quickly, but it's sometimes hard to be able to spend maybe all the time that you want to chatting with a patron at Lacey, because there's so much else to do. At Hawks Prairie, we get to just chat with patrons as much as we want to and show off and talk about how great this movie was that they're asking about. I got to do my first one-on-one computer class for me in over a year at Hawks Prairie in Spanish with one of our community members yesterday. And it was great. It was so fun. So and every single person that walks through those doors, the first thing they say, even if they've been back, it's a multiple visit, they say, thank you for being here. It's so great to have you in this part of town. It's so convenient to me. It's just lovely. It's lovely. It's lovely.
That's wonderful.
So Holly, will you be adjusting content based upon checkout and that type of thing? Is that kind of the plan?
Yeah, so they are the 2 libraries, West Olympia in the mall and ours at Hawks Prairie. They are designed to be this pilot project of a Lucky Day library. So the intent will always be to keep the newest, most popular materials in the facility. However, what those new materials will be, because it's a small space, right? It's a tenth the size of our library, on College. So I can't have all of the new things because there's not enough room. So what we've been asking almost everybody that comes in is, we welcome them. It's great because we get to say hi to every person that comes in because we can see them and it's not that busy, so we can do that. And asking them to give us feedback on what they'd like to see. For example, we've been trying to feature our newest materials. So we have lots of the new playaways, which is sort of the all-in-one audiobook that has the player built in with a little battery and you plug your headphones in, rather than audiobooks on CD. We don't have those as part of the new because we're kind of moving away from that format a bit. However, we got lots of really good feedback from several of our patrons asking, couldn't we have a small selection of that? Because for one reason or another, the book on CD format works better than the playaway. And so I'll be bringing over a selection from Lacey of our newest, most popular books on CD to create a display to meet that need. So we started with a small Spanish language display, which my patron yesterday was overjoyed to find. And so we're just kind of working to see how people are using things on these first few weeks. We still have a pretty good supply of materials. So right now we haven't had to add in anything new that's just been returned there from another library, the floating collection. But I can see the Vox books are checking out. Those are the ones where it's a picture book that has a little machine inside it where a reader narrates the book while the child is reading it. So that can be really great for literacy development. So we're seeing some neat stuff go out there. We're also seeing a lot more holds get transferred there for people to pick things up. But yes, long answer to that short question, Scott. We're asking folks to give us feedback on what they'd like to see so that we can continue to tweak the things in that collection for the community of users there.
Great. Thank you very much, Holly.
You're welcome. Any other Hawks Prairie or other questions? If you haven't gotten out there yet, you really should. It's great. It's just neat. And every single one of my staff gets to work there either once a week or once every other week. And so we're finding it very rejuvenating. It's a place to go and have a nice day of just interacting and doing some light collection work, making lots of pretty displays, and then, kind of relaxing so that we can hit the next day at Lacey with lots of energy.
Okay. Thank you, Holly. Next on our agenda is the library budget. I think maybe it would be helpful, Holly, if you could start by just giving us a real brief timeline of what has to happen when.
Yes, absolutely. So pre-pandemic and pre-remodel, because we've taken a few years off asking the city for major things because they gave us a very large supportive monetary amount to do our 2020 remodel. So I thought maybe we should wait for a year or two before we ask for more money again. But Timberland as a whole, as a district right now, is both in city-owned buildings and in Timberland-owned buildings, is working with our city partners and working with our Timberland budget to refresh our library so that they are bright and clean and engaging and have wonderful things in them, and all of the equipment that the staff need to do the job and things to really have the community enjoy. So we've been doing lots and lots of library refreshes since 2020, kind of using the opportunity of the pandemic to and lower use to replace carpet and get fresh paint and replace furniture, replace old wooden furniture with stuff that's newer and easier to keep clean, and just do a lot of those things throughout the district. So we got a lot done, of course, with our 2020 remodel at the Lacey Library. We took out all of our front desks, we replaced them with adjustable height sit-stand desks, which are much more friendly for small children, people of varying heights, anyone using wheels or other assistive devices, so that somebody's not towering over them from a large counter height desk. We got the family restroom installed. We changed up the interior layout to create a check-in room so that we can install our automated materials handling machine, which has done amazing things for our workflow, and did a lot of refresh. And then we replaced the carpet around the front desk area as well, and built that new little check-in room. So it was wonderful, but that wasn't actually everything on my wish list for our library, because as wonderful as it is, there's always things that people have asked for that we hadn't had a chance to do. So I put in a request to Timberland to do a basically 3-phase refresh this year, which included Monday and Tuesday of next week. Lacey will be doing takeout only those days, because the city is going to come in and rip out all of our built-in cabinetry and do demo for us, so that we can refresh our workroom areas and office with more ergonomic workstations and with mobile storage. So I have more flexibility in arranging the space. It's hard to do that when your stuff's built in. We are also going to be installing, they're also going to be installing for us. This is the city doing this for us, by the way. We bought the stuff, but they're doing the installation work for us. We, being Timberland, bought the stuff. They're also going to be putting in slat wall end panels for all of the, yeah, I know. I just saw Charlotte's eyes light up. Charlotte and I are speaking library speak. Hi, James. It's good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. So we're going to be installing slat wall end panels on the adult side of the library. And what those are is they allow you to put plastic holders to hold books and little small shelf displays on the end panels that delineate the range of shelving. So it's going to really increase our display availability on that side of the library, and we're going to be installing that. Then the next phase is going to include rearranging and changing up the teen area and a little bit of extra furniture in the picture book area to make it more user-friendly, create some more seating opportunities for our teen users, create some better display space and collection space. And then we're also going to be tearing out our giant old magazine holders to create new magazine shelving along the back wall. I'm also hoping to talk to the city about some alternate color paint to maybe create an accent wall, which the different colors can help draw the eye to different services and things. Now, before you're like, well, sounds like a really big budget, I just want to mention that I put all of this in Timberland's budget and got $81,000 to do this for this year, for these projects. But the biggest thing on my wish list is something that has been asked of me by our patrons for the entire 10 years that I've been working here. That's study rooms. They want a smaller size study room or two in the library so that they can have this quieter place to work on things. It's not the big empty meeting room that may be busy and booked, or be out on the floor on a desk where it could be, people are allowed to talk in the library where it's talking on there. So we have facilities crew who can do things like build walls and stuff on Timberland's team. But for installing a couple of study rooms where I want, we're going to need to do some relocation of potentially HVAC, lighting and electrical, and possibly the sprinkler system in order to get those walls up and create that space. So this is where the city budget comes in and the timeline that Charla had asked me for after all this context here. So what has happened in the past when I've had a request that relates to the building that I want to submit to the city of Lacey for their inclusion in their budget for the next year, I bring that to the board, and I usually will start talking about it in March, which is what we're doing now. And then usually a May meeting will have me having gathered information about like quotes and potential cost estimates, things like that for the kind of project that we want to do, and and that sort of information, so that the city has an idea of, and we have an idea of how much money to ask for and what would be involved in the project itself. And then we put that together in a package. I give it to the board. The board, you pass it on to the city of Lacey for the city council to consider as including as part of their capital budget for the next year. So that's what I would like to do for this year. And we usually need to get that in by, I think, this is where I might ask Alyssa Fontaine, if she is still listening, the budget deadline for the city of Lacey for last year. Is that still like early July?
I believe so, but I would definitely defer to Troy Wu to get a confirmed date.
So usually what we try and do is have that finalized and have the package ready to go at either a May or a June meeting to pass it on to the city so that it makes it by the city's budget deadline for their departments. So it can get properly included into that, which we can finalize by checking in with Troy, with the finance person over at the city or their assistants. So what I am doing right now is I have the name of a commercial general contractor that the city of Lacey uses regularly. And I have reached out to that person to see if they can come over and take a look at the area where we want to put the study rooms and give us an idea of what it would cost to, because the city does not have someone on staff to do the kind of planning, rerouting, the plans to reroute some of that work. And so that's something they would normally contract out. So I'm going to try and have a rough idea of how much that sort of project might cost and some of the scope of the work to put basically two walls and a couple of doors in without messing up the HVAC or the flow and the sprinkler systems and things like that. And have him give me a ballpark of what that kind of work might cost if we were like going with his company, so that we can put that as part of our budget request for the city. And then if the city is able to approve that, then beginning of the year, they'd probably go out to bid for it. And then we'd get that work, and then we could get the study rooms installed, hopefully first or second quarter. And probably, James knows I'm probably, that's probably really optimistic, but early sometime next year, where we could get those study rooms installed. And the Timberland has, and I have money in the budget to help with that as well. But it's mostly just making sure that we have somebody to come in and take care of the HVAC and the electrical and the sprinkler system, and make sure it's routed in a way that putting walls up doesn't interfere with that work. Yeah, so kind of like that. One other thing that I also might want to look at in terms of budget, and this is just more as sort of a maintenance type of issue. So it might be something that I just kind of talk with Chris Baird about to see if it's something that the city can do. And it just be maybe instead of a formal budget request, it could be a maintenance request. Does everyone know our drive up book drop that's out in the parking lot?
Mhm.
And of course, it's been there for quite some time. We've had that little covered drive-up book drop in that area for as long as I've worked there. So it's been there for over 10 years, because I know it was there for a few years before I got there as well. And the pad is sinking into the ground. And so that area is flooding regularly when we get rain, which, being where we live, happens a lot. So what I would like to do is work with the city, and I will reach out to Chris Baird, who is of course my maintenance contact for the city, to talk about the best way to approach that project, to see, do we want to temporarily remove the book drop, bust up and re-pour the pad so that it's properly elevated, so that we're not wading through ankle deep water to get to the books sometimes? Or do we want to look at, is there another part of the parking lot that would be better suited than that particular area where there is a drainage? I mean, there is slope down to, I believe, a drainage grate in that vicinity, which is why the water is there, because the water is flowing around the book drop as it goes to drain, and see what we want to do for that. So that may or may not be part of a budget package. The study room stuff definitely will be, but the others will, I'm talking to Chris about what he thinks is best for that. And then in terms of other kind of maintenance stuff, that just happens without any action on the board's part. Like this summer in August, our parking lot will get striped. The city will do that, and they just do it. So that's part of their regular budget for maintaining the facility.
Any other questions for Holly? So I think we need to plan our next couple meetings to give Holly enough time to get all her quotes and cost estimates,
Mhm.
and then to look at the budget in time to pass it to the city and meet their deadline. So I think that sounds like maybe a mid-May meeting. Would that give you enough time?
Yes, I would recommend that we don't do, definitely don't do anything later, but I think that that's plenty of time early, that I should be able to have everything I need by then without too much difficulty. So I would recommend that we have a meeting in May, and if we need to do any other final things like that, we may also want to have one in June. It sort of depends on how May goes.
Okay. Is everybody okay with, do you want to talk about the dates tonight, or do you want me to get with Holly and get some suggested dates, and we'll do an email vote?
I think I might suggest maybe tonight, if folks don't mind.
Good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've got a calendar.
Gang's all here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me take a look here.
So the 18th of May is it's the third Wednesday, but it's almost smack in the middle. No, Holly's frowning.
Earlier. I would keep it for our normal second Wednesday of the
okay.
month if we can.
Okay.
Let me just double check. I think that's what I was kind of envisioning when I was looking at my calendar. Let me just pull that up quick. Pardon the side of my face. I have a double monitor set up, and the camera is on this one.
And Holly, I assume we're waiting for the city to see if we can meet in person in the future.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that is exactly correct. That is up to the city. As soon as they okay it, we can start meeting at the library again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I am seeing Wednesday, May 11th is the second Wednesday of the month. Does that work for folks at 5:30?
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
Works good.
Fine for me. But anybody have issues with the 11th of May?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could even ask Scott Spence if he wants to come and talk, so I could have the opportunity to pitch it to him directly and be like, Scott,
Okay.
we need money.
Alyssa's going to get us the contact info for Scott's EA, so I will contact her. And then I'll get the city to put us on the schedule for a Zoom call for that, and hopefully we'll be able to cancel and have the meeting in person.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really good.
And do we want to plan a June one while we're looking at our calendars?
Look here. Second Wednesday in June I have is June 8th. And I am open that evening.
I think it'd be nice to schedule a June 8th, and then at the May time, if we don't need it, we can always cancel it.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have difficulty with June 8th at 5:30?
Yep, works for me.
Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Hey, Charlotte, real quick. Usually what we do is Holly will draft a memo with the budget, and then the chair puts a cover memo on top of it and sends it into the city. And so I have some templates that I've used in the past.
Excellent.
Yeah, me
I
too.
would love to receive those from you.
It's kind of like I put the package together and I'm presenting it to you with my recommendations. And then you are reviewing, giving me any feedback for any changes. And then you're taking the packet, adding your recommendations for, please include this, or wow, she's asking for too much money again, which I don't think has ever happened, but you never know. And then you're passing that packet on to the city. Yeah.
Right. So we vote on Holly's budget and then we
Yes.
pass it forward.
Thank you.
It's been 2 years since we've been able to do that. It feels so good to think of going back to at least a normal, at least one thing we used to do. It's really nice.
We're getting there. Well, before we close this meeting, I just want to say hello to James, and I'm glad that you were able to join us.
Oh.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm not feeling too bad, but I made the mistake of stopping at Costco to get my gas tank filled up without realizing that there were 750. They had two tanker trucks there, both trying to empty gas into their tanks. And oh Lord, stay away from Costco for gas for the time being. Oh,
It's good to see you, James.
yeah, everything for me is series of tests and conversations, and so far I'm meeting with 5 doctors who are trying to determine what kind of a recommendation they're going to give me, and then it becomes a case of, well, what hospital can they get a bed in? So it's all just kind of maybe happen, maybe won't.
Well, we're all thinking of you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
I think we've covered everything on the agenda. Does anybody have anything else?
I just want to say good job, your first meeting as chair.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Amy. Coming from you, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Okay. It was good to see everybody.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll get to see each other face to face next time. And this meeting is adjourned.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Take
Good
care.
to see you.